What those big bucks do is they obviously recognize cameras. And anybody that doesn't believe that, just look through your pictures, and I guarantee you got a bunch of pictures like this looking at the camera, right? We all do. They see cameras. They know what cameras are, and especially if you put them in bedding areas. Now you start moving them out a little bit. They'll see them a couple times. They'll start being shy of them. They'll start coming in using the wind because they know something's up there. They've smelled people there. You think about how many of those giant bucks that I've shot, even this year's, are on the very first sit.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, they're the first sit of the year. Now, when you're putting a camera out there and it may be a cell camera, you don't have to come back for a while. You still went in there. You still left scent. And whether people want to believe it or not, that scent lasts a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if, in the right conditions, it's there for 30 days, maybe more. We don't smell like a deer, but I do know that dogs can pick it up for quite a while. They might not be able to track it anymore, but if you're in an area, you're messing around, you're staying there for a while trying to hang a camera and stuff, you're leaving a lot of scent. You're letting those deer know where you're at. So cameras can be good. I usually take a camera and I put it in a feeding area, an area where people actually go, where other people hunt, because I just want to know that that buck exists. My scouting will tell me where he lives, and I'll hunt him down. I don't need a camera in his bedding area. I don't need to tip him off that I'm coming. And those cameras, I mean, there's so many of them. Most of these young guys nowadays, they'll get like 10 or 20 of these things, and they'll just throw them all over the place. And any place they think might be good, where a lot of these spots may have not have been hunted in the past because they didn't have confidence in them, but they might just, let's throw a camera there and see what happens. And then they get the confidence, but those cameras tell you where they're at, where they're hunting. And if they get a picture of a buck, they're moving in, and that buck might just be starting to get used to the camera, and now all of a sudden you add human scent and stuff. And those bucks are going to be in places where those cameras aren't. So what you're looking for is those land features. You're looking for those points, those fingers, those brush, points that might not be as obvious, might not be able to see them on an aerial view as well, but they're still there, and they're not where people are going out and putting cameras. Maybe they're off to the side. Maybe you got to go around a private property and come back in a different way because there's only one access that's really weird to get to a spot. So I'm always looking for those weird access spots, the spots that are overlooked, where you can't really park, or behind houses, things like that, and finding those niches. And believe me, a lot of them, you get out there and there's cameras there, there's stands there, there's people are hunting there. You got to have the time to do, to walk, to look, to find, and you got to be able to walk past stuff that looks good, but there's cameras all over the place. There's tree stands all over the place. There's sign. I mean, a lot of guys are they're garbage people. They dump their crap underneath their trees. You see it for ways. They put flags to their trees, or you see that stuff, and it tips you off that people are there. Mm-hmm. And if you're seeing tree stands, you're seeing cameras, you're in the wrong spot if you want to kill a mature buck. Mature bucks are where nobody is, but they're still there. And actually, by having all that stuff across the landscape, when you go out there and you're getting frustrated, there's a tree stand here, there's a camera there, there's that Infalt. He ruined it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we cross this spot out, we cross this spot out, we cross this spot out. And pretty soon, you've got a very little area that buck could be. And that's how I'm killing them.
Yep. Last week, I don't know if people picked up on it, but we had Rendell Eric on, and we got to talk about trail cameras. This is 2 weeks in a row we talked about trail cameras, but he made a really good point. He said people have this attitude where they'll go scout and they'll find their best area and they'll just put a cell camera on it, and that's how they monitor it. And he's like, they're thinking backwards. They need to go hunt it, and then if they don't kill something, then maybe go put a camera, then drop a camera there, and then you can. But he said then they get that picture of that big deer that walks by their trail camera on October 3rd. And then he's like, that's the only time it's going to freaking walk by it. He's like, and you should have been hunting there instead of worrying about your stupid camera. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably how people should think. And they don't. They think about, well, I'll just sit here and I'll put a camera in before I hunt it, So.
Yeah. I've hunted where I can see a camera that I monitor on several occasions. specifically like at Dave's farm, because I put cameras out there because it's a private farm.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in a spot where, in like an observation stand, where you watch a buck stand in front of that camera and you never get a picture. And you wonder how many times that thing goes by there and doesn't get a picture. And then how many times does it go around that camera and not come in front of it? And I've watched many, especially mature bucks, as they come in feeding and walking on the trail, look at that camera and walk around it in a long way around it and come out the other side and look back at the camera. They know those cameras are there.
Yeah.
But the fact is, even when they walk past them, I mean, it's a device that picks up heat and movement. It doesn't always do that. They don't always work. You don't always get a picture.